Hello everybody, my name is Ethan, also known as the Young Dreamer now, and today we're going to be making a YouTube video, as I do per every week, about my progress on making the comic book Strange Encounters and the story of me making it, as well as telling you guys a bit of my creative process and all sorts of good stuff. This week is going to be a good video, I hope. It's going to be talking a little bit more about conceptualizing stories. Less about stories, more about scenes. The way I am creating this book, I'm sort of tying everything together like as if I was directing a movie. There's different sequences and different scenes and stuff that has to play out, as well as different lines of dialogue that have to be said, different actions that have to be made, and then I script that out, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about that scripting process today and going over a new page that I've done in the past few weeks. I've actually finished 3 new pages, but I'm only going to be sharing one of those pages with the internet because this book needs to be not entirely shared on the internet before I publish it, because that would be an absolute tragedy. Everybody already read it before it comes out. I need to save some room for surprise, so I'm going to be posting not one of the more boring pages by any means, but it's going to be one of the pages that has the most dialogue on it that I've had so far. And so this week's video is going to be about me structuring that and explaining the process of how I went into doing that, and then I'll show you a time lapse for the page at the very end, because why not? It'll be fun, it'll be a good video, and we can start talking a little bit more about one of the most important characters in the comic book, Harriet, which we already have started talking about, but I've started working more on Harriet and making her character more interesting and more just fun, and so you'll see that in the next page as well. So let's get right into the video and get started. So typically on this process of scripting out scenes, what I'll do is I'll have an idea of an action that I want to have taken place, which you all have already seen in the last video with Harriet trying to catch Sputnik. I thought to myself it would be funny if there was an alien flying around in her office and she needed to find a way to catch him. So I started drawing some sketches, some concepts, which I can share with you guys here. At first, I started drawing concepts for Harriet. I did a character page for her, and then I tore that character page out of my sketchbook because I was really dissatisfied with the way I was drawing her, and I kind of changed her character design a bit. So then I made a new character page, and that's really hard to see. Well, there we go. Now we got it. She's got big hair, big sort of eyebrows, and a smart-looking jacket, as well as her scarf. Her red scarf, which is one of the most memorable things about her, is the fact that she wears a red scarf. She's also a veterinarian. She really cares for animals. She's a very caring person herself, and she is actually an avid believer in Mayor Friendly's campaign. She is one of Friendly's supporters, which is going to be interesting as the comic plays out when Friendly starts acting a little bit not like a friendly mayor. So then I started scripting out another piece of pages, some ideas for the page that you saw last week, actually, the layout of her clinic, the open sign. We have some scenes of Sputnik running around like a madman, her grabbing his eye drops, even the Welcome to Summit View County sign that we saw on the last page. So I wrote all that stuff down. In additional to that, I wrote camera angles from Welcome to Summit View County to Summit View County Veterinarian Clinic sign. So when I'm drawing these things, I'm likening it as if I'm directing a movie, sort of, because it's easier for me to wrap my mind around camera angles when I put it that way rather than drawing or sketching angles. I just think, okay, the camera's pointing towards this sign, and then in a movie, it would be turning towards the veterinary clinic sign. But in a comic book, that's harder to write in, so you have to draw and make notes of that so that you know which direction everything's supposed to be facing, layouts, and all that good stuff. And then I drew an adorable image of Harriet and Sputnik together, where Sputnik's not acting like an insane lunatic. And so that was the build-up for this page, and then I came up with the concept of a gravity table that uses gravity to trap the creatures that she's performing surgeries on. So I drew this concept art here in the comic book. There's Sputnik, and there is Harriet right there. There's Sputnik's eye drops, and then we have a gravity table that's holding Sputnik still. so that she can put the eye drops into his eyes, which I actually have yet to make a page on. That's how in-depth things have been getting. It's 3 pages worth of not even doing the eye drops. It's mostly Harriet talking to another new character into the comic book, Bexelbrog. Now, Bexelbrog is sort of a walking antelope, deer, elk kind of person. He's got antlers, these big sort of donkey ears, a giant toothy grin, and bright, glowing yellow eyes. Now, Bexelbrog is Sputnik's owner. They're both aliens, and that leads into this concept art page, where it was essentially just a layout for the next page that I was going to work on. We have the control for the gravity table here. We have the gravity table itself right here. Sputnik in a potato sack, which Bexelbrog caught him in before he took him to Harriet's clinic. And then we have a little cute sketch of Harriet taking a nap on her office table. And then one of my more favorite drawings of Harriet right here, wide-eyed, being in shock that Bexelbrog put him in a potato sack, and then later to have the potato sack open to reveal the terrible case of iritis that Sputnik has. People must be wondering, what is iritis? I've never heard of that before. Well, it's kind of hard to explain. What happens is if your eyes have blunt force trauma, sometimes it causes this really acute, sharp pain when it's reacting to light. Your iris, when it expands, it gets inflamed, and it causes the worst eye pain anybody could possibly imagine. And the reason a lot of people might thinking, why, that sounds really specific. That's because I have actually had iritis one time, and it was one of the worst pains I'd ever experienced in my face. It was extremely bad. We had to go to the hospital, and I couldn't even open my eye without it was like almost overwhelming. I almost couldn't stand afterwards. And so I thought to myself, what if this really hyperactive alien had something like that, where if he opens his 2 giant eyes that are sucking in sunlight, it would go crazy, and it would be very agitated and cause a big mess in Harriet's office. But Harriet is a veterinarian. That's what Harriet works on, is fixing those kinds of problems. And thank goodness she's so good at her job, because otherwise Sputnik would cause a rampage in the town. Bexelbrog's a big alien man guy with big antlers. It took him hours to put Sputnik in that potato bag with Sputnik acting up. So, and you'll see that in the page that I'm going to show you. He says that. And so what I'll do when I'm concepting these stories is I'll write so many notes down. See, it's kind of hard to see, but you see all of these little notes up here and more even along here. These are all dialogue and notes on what's going to be happening in the scene, such as Harriet saying, "What's wrong with his eyes? I'll have to freeze him to help him." Bexelbrog's shouting really loud, "Good morning, Harriet," and it's waking her up, wakes Harriet up, which is what I wrote down here, and she's lying on the table sleeping, stuff like that, just so that I can have an idea of what I'm going to be building the page off of. A lot of that comes from my sketchbook, and then it'll go into the digital phase, which I guess we'll get right into right now. I'll show you the digitalization of this page that I'm working on. Well, not even working on it, finished now, for the sequence that I'm working on. That's a better way of putting it. So let's get right into that time lapse. Alright, so we're going to speed run the dialogue here. Start off with copying the layout from the room from the previous page, and then I do initial sketch for the entire page. I do initial sketches so I know the layout for everything. After that, I clear up the line work a bit better so that everything is more clear and polished when it comes to line work. Lots of fine details, especially in hair, beards, all that good stuff in the background. Then I start on base colors, really quick, darks, lights, done. I do the short time lapse rather than do the long time lapse, because long time lapses kind of can become exhausting, because it's just me talking forever. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to look more at that page, sort of frozen a little bit better, you can check it out on the Instagram. I'm going to post that tonight. The full page is going to be on there. And I might even do some additional postings of some character work that I did. Not from my sketchbook maybe, but I do have some digitalized concept arts for Bexelbrog. I think I have another one for Sputnik, but I don't know if I'm going to post that one. but, you know, we'll see. So right now I'm still working on the sequence. I'm about 3 more pages away from finishing that sequence when we're going to go back into Maxwell's story, actually, is the next sequence that I'm going to work on. Maxwell delivering mail for this big event that's going to be coming soon for the Mayor Friendly's introduction, which will be a big sequence that I still haven't even conceptualized yet, but I have it in my head. I think I know where I'm going to go for it. So we'll get into that next sequence. I don't know if that's going to be the next video that I'll do about. Next video that I do, I don't really have any plans for it yet, but we'll see what happens, how far I can get. I've been making a lot of progress on pages, actually. I've been finishing more pages not every week, but like every 2 weeks. I feel like I'm at least getting 1 page done, which is good progress. I don't think it'll be done. The first book will be done by the end of the year, but with this amount of progress, it could be. We'll see what happens. If it does, I'm still not going to try publishing it. I want to finish the first 3 books before I try even starting to get it published, because I think overall it's going to be at least 7 books, which is a lot, and it's a lot of work. So we'll see what happens on that page, or on that sequence. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. And we'll see how far we get this year. Maybe we might finish the first book. And if we do, I'm going to find a way to be able to share it with people. I'm not going to get it published, like I said before. I need to have the first 3 books finished first. And there's a reason for that, but I can't really get into that reasoning until I finish them, because it spoils some stuff. Which, it might seem like, oh, he's spoiling the whole comic book by putting all these videos on YouTube about him, but I'm really not. This is the first 4 pages of the book that I have spoiled so far, and there's going to be a lot more, a lot of pages. And there's a lot of concepts that I haven't shared yet that are even cooler than the first 4 pages of the comic book. So hopefully y'all enjoy at least the first 4 pages, get you interested on it, so that when this comes out, you'll be able to read it and enjoy it and share it with all of your friends and family. And then they can read it and enjoy it and share it with other people as well. And it will become not a global phenomenon, because that would be too far. That would be crazy, and I don't think that's going to happen. But it would be cool to share it with some people and get it out there, because that's what it's all about. And that's what these videos are about, is sharing the process, showing the journey on finishing this comic book. So I thank you all so much again for watching. Hopefully everybody's having a good week, good time. That's what I'm hoping anyways. We're now January 16th. The year is still very, very early on, but hopefully it's all going to be a good year for everybody still once again. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night, evening, year, month, week, whatever it is that you're having. I hope you have a great one. And once again, I'd like to thank ScuffStation Gaming for partnering with me. Their links are in my description below. They're a gaming organization that competes in awesome tournaments, cool content. They're coming out with a movie soon. Be sure to check out their information below. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.